I have also taken into consideration the manner in which an elderly man of the cloth who was unarmed was attacked and killed.
After some few minutes tulisikia vitu kama ni mawe inarushwa.
And I'll be out of prison, I'm sure. If the right thing is done.
Alikuwa amepigwa hii, alafu hapa nadhani ndio walimgongea hii hapa.
As I watched, I saw the bishop was lifeless.
But now on the process, before the consultation was over, he left us.
They shared a church, a compound, did the same kind of work, but one went for the other's life. Tonight on Casefiles, we tell you the story of a Catholic bishop killed by a fellow priest. Casefiles returns with a love-hate relationship that was the murder of the Italian bishop Luigi Locati. Casefiles, Locati'S Killers starts now. July 2005. This pond was home to a variety of fish. Young fish could be seen from a distance fighting for food. The man feeding the fish twice a day was an Italian national, Bishop Luigi Locati. The pond has since dried up. The fish are gone, but so is the owner. The pin-drop silence in the compound hides the chilling story of a murder that shocked a community and put the entire Catholic family in the country in the spotlight. Standing 2 floors up was once an office and the official residence of the bishop, who arrived in Kenya in 1964 for missionary work. As a young missionary, the man fell in love with the country. Those who knew him say he also fell in love with his calling, doing missionary work for the church faithful.
A bishop down to earth. Yeah, and he was reachable almost by everyone. Many times we could say he didn't have an office. Every time you approach him, he could address you where you are and even solve your problem.
By the time the young priest OPIYO was being posted to the dusty outpost town of Isiolo, the land where the church now stands was just a thicket.
1997. That was the very moment I arrived in Isiolo after a successful application to work in this region. And I remember soft-spoken Bishop Luigi Locati, very welcoming, actually welcomed me in 2 hands. And having given me a shelter for about a week, we settled to talk about the new diocese.
Bishop Luigi Locati would then embark on an ambitious expansion program of the Catholic Church in Isiolo.
In the office one morning, he tells me that, Michael, you know, you are a young man. I came in as a seminarian, mind you, and you ought to have a vision for this wonderful young church. Then he tells me that if you look around this compound, I have all machines. I've got tractors, I've got cars, I also have the money. But we now need personnel. We need really people who are ready to work for the good of the souls of our people, and also to ensure that the pastoralists also come into the church and serve this church.
All seemed well until the night of the 14th of July, 2005. As it was routine, the bishop, just like the rest of the staff house at the Isiolo Catholic Diocese, ate inside this dining hall before walking to his house a few meters away. Angela MAKENA, a teacher at a school built by the bishop, told Casefiles Bishop Luigi Locati was a jovial man.
Sasa hiyo siku wakati alitoka Italy akakuja, kwa sababu alikuwa ameenda likizo yake, alikuja, hatukuwa tumekaa na yeye sana, alikuja tu just for 2 days. Then the third day alikuja for supper na akakuja akatuita. Mimi nilikuwa nafanya kazi hapo Pastoral Center. Akatuita na kuna mama tulikuwa tunafanya naye alikuwa anaitwa Beatrice, akatuita tukaenda tukala pamoja na yeye.
MAKENA says the conversation between her, the bishop, and a colleague was unusual that night.
Kuna story alikuwa anatupia story nyingi sana za about how this mission started, marafiki zake wale walianza nao Isiolo hapa. Kata anatupia hadithi vile wanyama walikuwa wanapita hapa na pale. Anatuambia hata mkienda pale nyuma yangu hapa kuna barabara ya dofu walikuwa wanapitia hapo.
The same dining table at times hosted Father Guyo Mali, who had moved into a house just a stone throw away from that of Bishop Locati.
Kumaliza kukula, he just blessed us, akatubariki, alafu akatoka, akatuacha kwa nyumba. Wakati alituacha kwa nyumba sisi tulibaki.
The bishop left the dining hall in the company of 2 night guards. The bishop was upbeat. At 63, Locati will move about the church premises with much ease. MAKENA says moments later she had some commotion.
After some few minutes tulisikia vitu kama ni mawe inarushwa.
The sound MAKENA was hearing was not that of stones but gunshots. Bishop Luigi Locati was battling a group of people armed with guns.
For us hatukuwa tunajua kama ni guns, lakini tulifikiria ni mawe inarushwa. So tulikuwa tumeacha funguo the other side ya the Pastoral Center. Tukakimbia kwa nyumba kutafuta mahali ya kujificha. Later on tukitoka nje tunasikia kuna kama ni watu wanaturusha mawe, and wakati tulisikia hivyo tulirudi tena kwa nyumba. So we started consulting him kusikia ni nini kama amefika kwa nyumba kwake kulala, kwa sababu it was just a distance kutoka kwa Pastoral Center. I think nilitumia simu yangu kumpigia, nikapiga simu ikalia lakini haikuweza kuitikwa. The next moment nikapiga simu ikakataa kuitikwa, then ikakuwa ni mteja.
OPIYO priest based at the Isiolo diocese told Casefiles he had just returned from Nairobi when his fellow priest came knocking on his door.
Father. I said, Father, what is it? I'm coming. Father, come out. When I came out, he said, Father, Bishop has been shot. I said, what? Are you dreaming? Who told you? But the nurse, we had a nurse here, who was actually helping us in the compound. She was called Agnes. That sister, Nurse Agnes calls me and tells me that the bishop has been shot. I said, gosh.
By this time, Bishop Luigi Locati had been shot several times. One of the bullets had torn through his neck. The man of the cloth was fighting to stay alive.
Akaanza kupigana na wao hapa. Wakapigana. Sasa mzee vile aliona you will not get a chance to enter because unajua huko hata yeye alikuwa na bunduki yake. Akaona hataona chance ya kuingia kwa nyumba. Kwa hiyo alianza kuru. Kwa hiyo akiwa kurundi, kwa sababu ukiona hii bunduki, hii risasi ilikuwa hapa, inaonekana walimshikia somewhere here. Because wanaona kama anakimbia. So akakuja, ndio wakati alikuja pale akasikia amesindiwa. Ndio akalalia hiyo kamti. Hiyo kamti hapalala hapo. Ndio akampiga sasa hii risasi hapa at a very near range. So baada ya hapo ndio akapiga risasi sanju.
By the time the local police officers were responding to the 7 p.m. incident, the Catholic bishop's life was hanging on a thread.
Tuliona watu wameanza kuingia pastoral, wakaanza kutuliza wako wapi. So hatukuwa tunajua kumbe Bishop Orende was shot, na ndio wakati tulielekea mahali kama tunaenda kwake mahali alikuwa anaishi, na wakati tulienda tukafika tulimkuta hapo alipigwa bunduki akaanguka. He was seriously bleeding, alikuwa ana bleed. Wakati hapo tu me myself kwanza I got unconscious.
We got ourselves actually driving very fast to the hospital. Arriving at the hospital, actually I was in pajamas because I was already in the house preparing for Nini now. Arriving at the hospital, we went straight to the ICU, and we found him in what do you call those things? In the life support machines. I looked at his lordship, there was some nurse there trying to listen with the stethoscope. You know. But as I watched, I saw the bishop was lifeless. His lifeless body was lying there. And actually, his tongue was out. And when I was gouged, I saw the bullet wound somewhere. Then I confirmed, our Lord Bishop is apparently gone.
Was it a case of a normal robbery? Was it an outright assassination? Who wanted Bishop Luigi Locati dead? And why? It wasn't until the following day that the real scale of what had happened the previous night became evident. Peter MIRITI, a priest posted 200 kilometers away, was among the first people to arrive at the bishop's residence hours after he had been shot dead.
We drove that night. I was moving with the motorbike. And I came with the motorbike that night here. But only to find that he hasn't been taken to Kovu mortuary.
As the Catholic Church mourned the brutal killing of the high-ranking official, local police officers got down to work. The Catholic Church was not relenting. The church wanted answers. The church wanted to know who killed Bishop Luigi Locati and why. At first, police had ruled out murder as the reason behind the sudden killing of the Catholic bishop. But when they started asking questions, police investigators realized that those behind the bishop's killing were people he knew after all. Police called in Father Guyo Wako Mali for questioning over the bishop's murder. The priest told police investigators he had no reason to kill a man he shared a religion with. Police were pursuing differences between the father and the Italian bishop as a possible motive for his killing. Police investigators dropped the investigation. The trail leading them to Father Guyo had gone cold, but it wasn't for long. Father Guyo Wako Male, Mohammed Molu, Adan Ingram Mohammed, Mahat Ali Halake, Roba Bala Barichu, and Mohammed D. Kawario were arrested. Police suspected the six had something to do with the murder of the Italian Catholic bishop. Father Guyo Wako was back at Isiolo police station. The local police investigators told him they had information that he was the man who assembled an entire team to eliminate a fellow man of the cloth. Father Guyo Wako Mali and his co-accused were finally arraigned before a Nairobi court. The six were facing charges of murdering a man with whom they had shared a compound. The prosecution maintained Wako was the mastermind of the night attack.
Nilisikia vile mzee huyo mwingine akipiga kelele, alafu ndio na mimi nikaenda mahali wako kuokoa. Kwenda kuokoa, nikakutana nao sasa. Ndio mmoja alinipiga, naona mkono na hapa hivi. Alafu nikasikia sumu. Nikaona ngiza kabisa, alafu nikatoroka.
The prosecution called more than 30 witnesses, among them a night guard who came across the attackers that night. One of the night guards told the court that Bishop Luigi Locati arrived at the Isiolo diocese alone on the night he was killed. Ekai told the trial judge Babu Achieng that as they escorted the bishop to his house, they were confronted by 6 attackers. One was armed with a G3 rifle. The 6 accosted them, with the one carrying a G3 rifle shooting 3 times in the direction of the bishop. The gunmen then disappeared into the dark, but not before jumping over a fence. The night guard says when he was making for the house, he saw Father Wako Guyo standing next to his house, which was adjacent to that of Bishop Locati. Wako asked him to call the police. All through the murder trial, Father Wako Guyo maintained he had nothing to do with the bishop's murder. The prosecution, on the other hand, maintained Father Guyo had the resources, the time, and the motive to kill the fellow man of the cloth. Casefiles takes a short break.